Yeshayahu, or Isaiah, chapter 13. The message concerning Babel, which Yeshayahu, son of Amos, saw. Lift up a banner on the high mountain, raise your voice to them, wave your hand, let them enter the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my set-apart ones. I have also called my mighty men for my displeasure, my proudly exulting ones. The noise of an uproar in the mountains like that of many people, a noise of uproar of the reigns of nations gathered together. Yehovah of hosts is gathering an army for battle. They are coming from a distant land, from the end of the heavens, even Yehovah and his weapons of displeasure to destroy all the earth. Howl, for the day of Yehovah is near. It comes as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore, all hands go limp, every man's heart melts, and they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows take hold of them. They are in pain as a woman in labor. They are amazed at one another, their faces aflame. See, the day of Yehovah is coming, fierce, with wrath and heat of displeasure, to lay the earth waste and destroy its sinners from it. For the stars of the heavens and their constellations do not give off their light. The sun shall be dark at its rising, and the moon not send out its light. And I shall punish the world for its evil, and the wrong for their crookedness, and shall put an end to the arrogance of the proud, and lay low the pride of the ruthless. I shall make mortal man scarcer than fine gold, and mankind scarcer than the gold of Ophir. So I shall make the heavens tremble, and the earth shall shake from her place in the wrath of Yehovah of hosts, and in the day of the heat of his displeasure. And it shall be as the hunted gazelle, and as a sheep that no man takes up. Every man turns to his own people, and everyone flees to his own land. Whoever is found is thrust through, and every one taken falls by the sword, and their children are dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses plundered and their wives ravished. See, I am stirring up the Medes against them, who do not regard silver, and as for gold, they do not delight in it. And bows dash the young to pieces, and they have no compassion on the fruit of the womb. Their eye spares no children. And Babel, the splendor of reigns, the comeliness of the pride of the Kasdim, shall be as when Elohim overthrew Sodom and Amorah. She shall never be inhabited nor be settled from generation to generation, nor shall the Arabian pitch tents there, nor shepherds rest their flocks there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be filled with owls, and ostriches shall dwell there, and wild goats frolic there, and hyenas shall cry in their citadels, and jackals in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days are not drawn out. Chapter 14. Because Yehovah has compassion on Yaakov, and shall again choose Israel and give them rest in their own land, and the sojourners shall join them, and they shall cling to the house of Yaakov. And peoples shall take them and bring them to their own place, and the house of Israel shall possess them for servants and female servants in the land of Yehovah. And they shall make captives of their captors, and rule over their oppressors. And it shall be in the day Yehovah gives you rest from your sorrow and from your trouble, and the hard service in which you were made to serve, that you shall take up this proverb against the sovereign of Babel, and say, how the oppressor has ceased, the gold gatherer ceased. Yehovah has broken the staff of the wrong, the scepter of the rulers. He who struck the people in wrath with ceaseless blows, he who ruled the nations in his displeasure, is persecuted and no one restrains. All the earth is at rest and at peace. They shall break forth into singing. Even the cypress trees rejoice over you, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since you were cut down, no woodcutter has come up against us. Sheol from beneath is excited about you, to meet you at your coming. It stirs up the dead for you, all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from their thrones all the sovereigns of the nations. All of them respond and say to you, have you also become as weak as we? Have you become like us? Your arrogance has been brought down to Sheol, and the sound of your stringed instruments. The maggot is spread under you, and worms cover you. How you have fallen from the heavens, O Hallel, son of the morning. You have been cut down to the ground, you who laid low the nations. For you have said in your heart, let me go up to the heavens. Let me raise my throne above the stars of El, and let me sit in the mount of appointment on the sides of the north. Let me go up above the heights of the clouds. Let me be like the Most High. But you are brought down to Sheol, to the sides of the pit. Those who see you stare at you and ponder over you, saying, is this the man who made the earth tremble? Who shook reins? Who made the world as a wilderness and destroyed its cities? Who would not open the houses of his prisoners? All the sovereigns of the nations, all of them were laid in esteem, everyone in his own house. But you have been thrown from your burial site like an abominable branch, like the garment of those who are killed, thrust through with a sword, who go down to the stones of the pit like a trampled corpse. You're not joined with them in the burial place, for you have destroyed your land and killed your people. Let the seed of evildoers never be mentioned. Prepare his children for slaughter because of the crookedness of their fathers, lest they rise up and possess the land and fill the face of the world with cities. And I shall rise up against them, declares Yehovah of hosts, and shall cut off from Babel the name and remnant and offspring and descendant, declares Yehovah. And I shall make it a possession for the porcupine and marshes of muddy water, and shall sweep it with the broom of destruction, declares Yehovah of hosts. Yehovah of hosts has sworn, saying, truly, as I have planned, so it shall be, and as I have purposed, so it stands, to break Asher in my land and tread him down on my mountains, and his yoke shall be removed from them, and his burden removed from their shoulders. This is the counsel that is counseled for all the earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out over all the nations. For Yehovah of hosts has counseled, and who annuls it? And his hand that is stretched out, who turns it back? This is the message which came in the year that sovereign Ahaz died. Do not rejoice, all you Philistia, that the rod that struck you is broken, for out of the serpent's roots come forth an adder, and its offspring is a fiery flying serpent. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy lie down in safety. And I shall kill your roots with scarcity of food, and it shall kill your remnant. Howl, O gate, cry, O city, melt away, all of you Philistia, for smoke shall come from the north, and there is no stranger in his ranks. And what does one answer the messengers of a nation? That Yehovah has founded Zion, and the poor of his people take refuge in it. Chapter 15. The message concerning Moab. Because in the night Ar of Moab was laid waste, was silenced. Because in the night Kir of Moab was laid waste, was silenced. He is gone up to the house and Dibon, to the high places to weep. Moab is wailing over Nebo and over Medeba. On all their heads is baldness, and every beard is cut off. In their streets they shall put on sackcloth. On the tops of their houses and in their streets everyone wails, weeping bitterly. And Heshbon and Elealeh cry out, their voice shall be heard as far as Yahatz. Therefore the armed ones of Moab shout. His being shall tremble within him. My own heart is toward Moab. Her fugitives cry unto Tsoar like a 3-year-old heifer. For by the ascent of Luhith they go up with weeping. For in the way of Horonaim they rise a cry of destruction. For the waters of Nimrim are wastes. For the green grass is withered away. The grass fails. There's no greenness. Therefore the wealth acquired and stored up they take away to the wadi of the willows. For the cry is gone all around the borders of Moab. It's wailing to Eglaim, and it's wailing to Be'er Elim. For the waters of Damon shall be filled with blood. For I shall bring more upon Damon, lions upon him who escapes from Moab, and on the remnant of the land. Chapter 16. Send a lamb to the ruler of the land, from Selah to the wilderness, to the mountain, like the daughter of Zion. And it shall be like a wandering bird, a nest thrown out. So are the daughters of Moab at the fords of Arnon. Bring counsel, execute judgment. Make your shadow like the night in the middle of the day. Hide the outcasts. Do not betray him who escapes. Let my outcasts sojourn with you, O Moab. Be a shelter to them from the face of the ravager. For the oppressor has met his end. Destruction has ceased. Those trampling down have perished from the land, and in loving commitment the throne shall be established. And one shall sit on it in truth, in the tent of David, judging and seeking right ruling and speeding righteousness. We've heard of the pride of Moab, very proud of his pride, his arrogance, and his rage. His boastings are not true. So Moab wails for Moab. Everyone wails. For the raisin cakes of Kir Hareseth, they moan. They are utterly smitten. For the fields of Heshbon languish, the vine of Sibmah. The masters of nations have broken down its choice plants, which have reached to Yazir and wandered through the wilderness. Her branches are stretched out, they're gone over the sea. Therefore, I bewail the vine of Sibmah with the weeping of Yazir. I water you with my tears, O Heshbon and Elaleh, for acclamation has fallen over your summer fruit and your harvest. Gladness is taken away, and joy from the orchard. In the vineyards there's no singing nor shouting. No treaders tread out wine in their presses. I've made their acclamation cease. Therefore my inward parts sound like a lyre for Moab, and my inner being for Kir Hares. And it shall be, when it is seen that Moab has wearied herself on the high place, that she shall come to her set apart place to pray, but not be able. This is the word which Jehovah has spoken concerning Moab since that time. But now Jehovah has spoken, saying, within 3 years, as the years of a hired man, the esteem of Moab is to be despised with all its great throng, and the remnant be few, small, and weak. And chapter 17. The message concerning Damasek. See, Damasek ceases to be a city, and shall become a heap of ruins. And the cities of Aroer are forsaken, there for flocks which shall lie down with no one to frighten. And the stronghold shall cease from Ephraim, and the rain from Damasek, and the remnant of Aram be as the esteem of the sons of Israel, declares Jehovah of hosts. And in that day it shall be that the esteem of Yaakov wanes, and the fatness of his flesh grows lean. And it shall be as when the harvester gathers the grain, and reaps the heads with his arm. And it shall be as he who gathers the heads of grain in the valley of Rephaim, and gleaning grapes shall be left in it, like the shaking of an olive tree, 2 or 3 olives at the top of the uppermost branch, 4 or 5 in its most fruit-bearing branches, declares Jehovah Elohim of Israel. And that day man shall look to his Maker, and his eyes turn to the set apart one of Israel. And he shall not look to the slaughter places, the work of his hands, and he shall not see that which his own fingers made, nor the Asherim, nor the sun pillars. In that day his strong cities become like a forsaken forest and an uppermost branch, which they left because of the children of Israel, and it shall become a ruin. Because you've forgotten the Elohim of your deliverance, and have not remembered the rock of your stronghold, therefore you shall plant pleasant plants and set out strange seedlings. By day make your plant to grow, and in the morning make your seed to flourish, but the harvest is a heap in the day of grief and incurable pain. Woe to the uproar of many people who make a noise like the roar of the seas, and to the rushing of nations that make a rushing like the rushing of mighty waters, nations rushing like the rushing of many waters. But he shall rebuke them, and they shall flee far away, and be chased like the chaff of the mountains before the wind, like whirling dust before the whirlwind. At eventide, look, alarm, before morning it is no more. This is the portion of those who plunder us, and the lot of those who rob us.